and it's against an IO potentially, Shadow Shaman not known for really dealing well with aggressive lanes in general, and then a Morphling who is going to take a pretty long time to come online. So I'm really worried that Newbee aren't going to be able to play the game fast enough to really punish Liquid at all. And I think that it's very likely that Matumba Man just runs away with this game.
And in terms of keeping control, and as you said, if Newbee then don't maintain control at the start, you feel that just the lineup that Liquid have, the aim and such, it can deal with the split push pressure of the Morphling of Newbee and come out on top in the late.
Oh yeah, I mean AM clears waves with the best of them, and you have a Mirana on top of that. Plus, it's still going to be very scary, I think, for Newbee to move out on the map. Sure, you have the Bat Rider, you have the IO relocate and whatnot, but Liquid's heroes are pretty mobile, especially once the Blink Dagger comes up. Like, the best thing that you could hope for is to get a pick on like an Undying or a Shadow Demon, because those are the two that are, you know, the least mobile of the five-man squad here of Liquid. But yeah, I'm favoring them pretty large amount. Not to say that Newbee can't win, but they do need to play a very fast tempo game once that Bat Rider gets a blink.
You can see at the moment Liquid around the top rune. Newbee were there in pretty much full force, but they don't want to contest it. And that is going to result in Liquid being able to secure themselves both of the bounty runes. Newbee not able to find an opening to contest either sides. And lane-wise, as we see them come out, it looks to be, at the moment at least, Mind Control on his own on the bottom lane. We saw, obviously, in the first two games, he did have a support at his side. But Axe going to be going up against the dual lane in the moment of Newbee. We'll see how that goes on. Kuroky's going to look to direct his efforts towards helping out Fnatic, get a good start in this mid lane. And I guess this is required against the Iron Morphling lane.
This is the best possible lanes that Newbee could get, I think, in this situation. Like, it's obviously not going to be a great middle lane, but it's going to be good enough. And having the Shadow Shaman down in the bottom lane, it's good enough to solo zone. So Shadow Shaman's not good when it's a 2v2, but when it's a 1v2, he's amazing, because Shackles does a really good amount of damage. Even at level 1, it's a very long disable. And plus, you have the Timber Saw in the safe lane, so you can deal a huge amount of damage to him.
And we saw that just a few blasts of the shock from Shemin, forcing Mind Control to back up on the Axe. Mid lane, and in the moment, Kuroky still spamming up the decay, keeping Hao and Kaka back, creating space for Fada to get the farm. And it's certainly working out at the moment, as we can see. Early CS advantage for the Mirana. It's Kuroky again, just comes back in. And this decision to put these two heroes mid certainly seems to be working out in terms of making sure Hao doesn't get the speedy beginnings that he requires.
They just want to lane against Newbee. They just want to go aggro. As soon as Kuro finds a spot where he can sit and just throw out decays and be a nuisance. I mean, he has 240 max health, and he's converting more. I mean, that's not a great thing.
Well, bottom, Mind Control. Not a man to get afraid of moving in and starting to skip the creep wave out away from Newbee. Put some pressure on this lane on his own. Certainly looks like he feels safe enough that he can afford to make these pulls away. Bring the creep wave back to his side. And actually, well, Spot Silent in his rune isn't going to want to take it now, as he, of course, just wants to clean up the creeps. And last but not least, really the top lane. We haven't really talked too much about it, but it is indeed the Bat. KP this time. Going up against the safe lane of Liquid. And he's already found himself level 3, so looks like he's able to get the experience in terms of getting close enough for the creeps. That's not going to be the case with Jarex hanging around the Timmerman's side on the Shadow Demon.
I mean, at the very least, it should be difficult to kill the Bat Rider. They might be able to force him to jungle. He's already making his way down there right now. Probably just wants to stack. Oh, arrow hits.
Yeah. He's got the Battle Hunger down.
Oh,
it's not going to be enough at the same time, though. Mid lane, the aggression and pressure from Kuroky's presence pays off with a kill. Big stuff happening there. Mind Control's going to hope to deny himself to the creeps here. It's not going to happen. Who's got the burst? But that first blood for Liquid.
Dude, just look at the CS. This Morphling has 5 creep kills.
Maybe it is the support Morphling the draft banner was looking for.
I don't think it's the support Morphling that Newbee are looking for, unfortunately. It's just so difficult laning against this Undying. I mean, sure, now that Kuro's gone back to base, he might be able to catch up a tiny bit, but this is the big worry that I had. They just don't have an answer for the laning phase, and you need Morphling to be able to stay at least somewhat relevant in regards to farm if you want to try to contest that AM. I'm really wondering what the idea is here. I mean, the Bat Rider, he might be able to get a Blink Dagger timing that's okay, but other than that, it's looking a little bit rough right now for Newbee.
I mean, Matumba Man as well, with the pace that this game's going. Are we going to see a Vanguard come out, Matumba Man turn up to early fights, or Battle Fury straight up? What do you expect he's going to go for this game on the AM?
I mean, if I'm this far ahead and they're feeling confident, I'd probably just go straight Battle Fury. I mean, you can go back to the Vanguard later because you're obviously going to want Abyssal Blade. The other thing, too, is if you buy Vanguard in this game, you can play very aggressive, which is what a lot of anti-mage players like to do. But I feel like in some situations when the laning phase is so easy for Liquid right now, you're probably not going to get punished if you just go straight Battle Fury.
See top. KP trying to guard the rune up for his teammates. In fact, to moving on to Fada. Jump forward from Hao. See if they can finish this one off. Rana gets himself out. Oh, he goes down. They'll get the one kill in Newbee. See if they can get a second. The Flame Brat bringing KuroKy back. He's got 3 stacks on him. And wow, Newbee able to punish Liquid this time round. Great play from the 3 of them as they team up together. And Jerax, he is on his own. We'll see if Newbee can go in for more. Salving up.
He needs to get out of here.
2 stacks on him, but doesn't Newbee don't want to follow through and chase it down. Fada jumps in. Oh, okie-dokie-doo. Arrow to Starstorm. Fada cleans himself up, one in return, and in fact, has to be careful. Tethers across to Hao, keeps himself alive. So Newbee able to get a couple of kills mid, but Liquid bite back, and of course Fada getting himself in again on the action and remaining ahead of Hao's Morphling.
Well, he didn't buy back. It's just 5 minutes in, so you just respawn instantly. But yeah, Fata with a really nice arrow there onto the Batrider. And this whole time, Matuma Man's just hitting creeps, man, getting damage on the tower. It's below half health already in the off lane. Should be able to kill it relatively fast. Once that happens, he can just be more efficient, just do pulls if he wants, hop into the jungle. And this is still, Newbee need to continue to find kills like that. If they can just bring the Batrider and the IO around, it's a really strong combination. Hao eating a Starstorm there. Yeah, but Newbee still have a ton of work to do.
All eyes on really KP in that Blink Dagger timing.
Dude, the Shadow Demon has more CS than Hao. Come on. This is not good. The laning phase is just total disaster right now for Newbee.
And we've seen as well many times before, if Jerax gets some, an early Blink or Ether Lens, he makes so many plays happen on his Shadow Demon. We've already seen it once this series. It's a very, very strong hero for Jerax. But then again, it feels like in this tournament, a lot of heroes could be associated with Jerax pulling off the plays with. He's certainly been on form across the board this TI.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but this man is about to get some serious gold. Like, he's been stacking all these camps. Newbee have not really been contesting at all because they've been very heavily focused on trying to get kills to equalize the deficit they've had in the laning phase, but that's not really going to matter too much. This is a 6-minute level 6 on Jerax.
Yep.
We were talking about DJ earlier in the first series having like level 5 at 6 minutes. He's a full level ahead of that. That's completely insane.
And of course, meanwhile, anti-mage. Matuma Man, no issues at all on this top lane. Newbee unable to do anything to slow down the farm of this anti-mage, and it's only going to continue to spiral out of control unless they're able to make the plays onto him or at least force the pressure elsewhere on the map.
He's even giving the other stacks to Mind Control, so not only is he going to have a very fast level 6, but Mind Control is going to have a super fast Blink Dagger. Like, Liquid are just a well-oiled machine here in game number 3. This is unbelievable.
It's perfect efficiency from the side, and a lot of course, those arrows and reasonings point towards Jerax, and just control and preparation of the jungle for his team. You see him already just coming across and making sure that Newbee themselves can't even make a move over into the jungle of Liquid. Closing the gates. And Matuma Man, he's A-okay. Jerax is there just in case anyone from Newbee tries to come close to the anti-mage. And it's really not going to be the case at this point.
He might choose to go back for Vanguard, just given how far ahead they are.
KP, maybe in trouble. The Demonic Purge is down, but Matuma Man moves, and he's got a Mana Void if he needs it. Will pop it. Not enough damage at the moment. The KP will live. Hao's come over with a TP reaction. Matuma Man simply just backs off under the cover of Moonlight Shadow. And they actually want to come back in, see if he can get the last touch onto this tier 1. See if he gets it with this next bit of a push. At the same time as we can see Mind Control getting more and more stacks from the jungle here. And Fada, more and more space in the mid lane. There's Newbee being pulled across the map and then back up to top. And look, as Matuma Man claims more gold with the final touch to the tower, forces Hao back. And Matuma Man, perseverance picked up. He is indeed going to go straight for the Battle Fury this game. And we can see already at this point, 8.5 minutes in, top 3 net worth all over on the side of Liquid.
Dude, just look at the net worth and experience. It pretty much tells the entire story. Liquid have just had a ridiculous early game. It's 8 minutes in. That's a 500 GPM, almost a minute on average that Liquid are gaining on Newbee. That is almost unheard of.
And I think that is the scary thing. I mean, obviously they did drop a game this series, but you look at every game and Liquid in the laning stage, they just play it on another level.
They have the better lanes. I feel like they've been playing better Dota in general. And the last 2 games in a row, I feel like their draft has also been better in addition to that. So maybe Newbee just not really prepared for Liquid in this series.
Let's see, with the smoke, they find themselves, Kaka, can they get the catch onto him? It looks like he'll get the chance to tether away.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Won't catch out the blue ball. So Jarrett's actually just going to wander around and drop a ward, but he may get in trouble for this one. Moo wrapping around. Jarrett's, I don't think he plays his way out of this one. 3 heroes surrounding him. Will lose his life. As Newbee able to pick up something from that play. The ward's going to remain there for the time being. We'll see if Newbee are aware that that indeed was placed down and see if they do anything about it. Same time, bottom lane, wards were dropped as a bit of pressure is being put on by Chuan onto the tier 1 bottom. But Liquid actually able to farm up some of the wards, get more money onto mind control on the Axa. He is going to be one building the Vanguard first this game. And Matuma Man, just one component away from the Battle Fury. It's going to be a very, very quick timing for the Anti-Mage this game. Same time, Farder. Good, gets the leap off. Didn't actually manage to jump out of the pit. Moonlight Shadow's there. Mind Control reacts, gets the dunk off. Demonic Purge onto Moo. See if they can chase down for more. Looking towards Chuan. Is Chakra from Moo holding them back, but there's the Mana Void. Matuma Man turning up to the fight. It's a double kill for Mind Control. Moo could be in trouble as well. They're closing the gap. Moo doing a bit of fuel left in the tank. The dunk, oh, it's a little bit premature. Mind Control won't be able to find a third, but still Liquid taking themselves 2. Newbee getting nothing in return. It's really looking very, very impressive at the moment for Liquid. Just an insane amount of value already built up on Matuma Man's Anti-Mage pre-Battle Fury. It's only going to get greater at this rate.
How are they going to stop this Anti-Mage? Like, if he gets a Battle Fury at like, what, 12 minutes? He's just going to go completely out of control. They're not going to be able to stop him. I mean, the one bright side for Newbee right now is that KP, he is kind of close to getting a Blink Dagger. And that could find some decent opening for Newbee to claw their way back into the game through pickoffs. And you can see how desperate they are. Look at this. This is a 4-man smoke commitment. They need to get it. Oh my god. And it gets scanned. Oh man, Liquid.
Oh, Liquid just one step ahead of Newbee each and every time. They'll drop a ward down behind the towers, but not finding the kill that they wanted. Going to attempt for a tier 1 here, but Liquid may even be in a position that they want to try and do something about this. Farder revealing himself. TP's come through. Yeah, they want to fight this. They want to hold this defense. And they may even be able to farm some of these wards. You can see Farder already just taking some of this extra gold. I mean, 28 gold apiece. It's not bad. And the tower, it's not going to be taken. Liquid probably even going to get the chance to get a deny on this one as well. And at the same time, KP on the sidelines, they'll even get themselves a kill, jumping in on the bat. KP to go down, Shackles onto Mind Control, but he's healed up by the Soul Rip. He's not going to die here. Now he finally goes as Hal zips across, but Liquid, they're going to be able to find themselves more in return. Potentially, the Chakra could be the turn. This is double kill for Farder in return. 3 dead on Newbee. Kuroki's going to chase down Chuan. It looked pretty with the IO coming in to help, but it's not enough. And again, Liquid taking the favorable fight. Kuroki just going to man up against Hao. Hao's got to get himself away. Will TP out. But another fight where Liquid is just coming out on top. It's not going great for Newbee once again in this earlier stages. It's every single game's been like this series.
Well, I mean, this went about as well as it could have, I think, for Newbee, because they already had committed wards at this point. You see the waveform in there from Hao getting the kill onto Mind Control, who pretty much got all of the crowd control used on him, unfortunately. And everyone's grouping up around Moo, and the Temper Saw gets quite a bit of burst damage out to kind of equalize the odds a little bit. At the very least, they walk away with a handful of core kills, and I think that's okay for them. If they can like manage to pull it back through kills and fighting, that's kind of what their lineup is meant to do. Whereas Liquid obviously having a split push potential with the anti-mage, that's kind of how they want to play this out.
Matuma Man treads, Battle Fury online, the farm will continue. You can see 5k net worth lead at the moment. Not as big as the leads they did have in Game 1 and Game 2 at this stage, but nonetheless a sizable one to have. And one that's only going to get larger unless Newbee are able to put a bit of a spanner into the momentum that Liquid have got. And eyes on towards the bottom lane. Matuma Man is in the neighborhood with Mind Control, and more's going to be coming in. The Cavalry, Liquid, bringing the full team down onto the bottom to put some pressure on. See how Newbee react. They're already keeping themselves in the tree line. They realize that they could off the map. Something's going on. Chuan's out of that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Liquid will just find the space to take a tier 1.
A super aggressive warding coming out from Liquid too. They realize the position they're in. They know that they can just farm very, very aggressively as well with the AM.
Radiant structure.
But there is a Blink Dagger now on the KP, so if they want to try to go for some kind of defense, maybe for the tier 1 mid or something, because I really think you don't want to give that away for free, especially given the fact that you're up against an anti-mage.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Well, it's going to be the aim. By the looks of it from Liquid, getting in position. KP coming around from the backside. Will jump in onto Fada, but Liquid, they are there in response, and indeed the defensive destruction comes out. Kuroki is trapped up in the walls, but the Sorip, he's incredibly tanky, finally goes down. They find the burst. Can they get themselves anything else, Newbee? Moving in onto Fada. He's already used the leap, and Newbee get themselves the double for Moo. It's a good defense, and they may even get more, but mind control there to turn the tides. Claw to KP. Would get themselves a kill in return, but it is a favorable trade for Newbee, and they do hold on to the tier 1, as you said, one of the highest priorities for them here.
A Liquid need to remember that they are pretty much playing a 4v5 game. I think Matuma Man has been a bit more active than most of the... Oh, that mana void. Alrighty.
Easy kill.
So Matuma Man pretty much just equalizes that teamfight exchange. And also keep in mind that Chuan had to commit Mass Serpent Wards for that, which means he's not going to be able to use it in any aggressive manner for taking towers and stuff. That's one big thing about, you know, your Shadow Shamans, your Death Prophets, that you are very cooldown reliant. As long as those Mass Serpent Wards are down, you're going to be having a hard time contributing. So all things considered, Liquid probably okay with the situation. They got some damage on the tier 2 in the bottom lane, traded it for a couple of heroes. Still doing very well.
As we can see that with the comparison, I mean, regarding the situation, Moose still had a pretty clean game on the Timber.
Yeah, the Timber's he's a really good pick because he just does a ton of damage and there's 2 melee cores, but the problem is later in the game, he's going to become almost like a nuclear bomb when he starts using his mana and you just get level 3 mana void cast on you, and anyone standing in the vicinity, they're just going to explode.
So what's the plan now for Newbee? Is it a case of waiting for maybe Liquid to try and go for that tier 1 push in the mid again, or can they smoke up with KP's Blink and try and kick something off with the bat?
I think that you really want to wait for wards to be up before you try to do anything, and the most likely scenario for me is them trying to pressure the safe lane and just drop wards in the tower, relocate in if you find a lasso target, because that's like the biggest strength of their team is their ability to pick people off.
Well, starting to find a bit of gold on the Shaman now as well, 1300. Imagine wanting to get that Blink Dagger timing online. Talking about iron timings though, Moo indeed. Bloodstone complete. The Timber Saw now is that period of the game where we've got to see if Newbee's able to continue to find these team fights where they're getting Moo involved in the kills, or if Liquid are able to take away those Bloodstone charges and find some action. Bottom lane, Hal slipping away, but Mind Control's there to cut him off with the Battle Hunger. Can't quite get the call off. Good adaptive strike from Hal. Now he gets it though. They don't have the damage to deal with it. In fact, Liquid, yeah, they realize they've got to get themselves out. Fada, TP's out. They got anything to stop Mind Control? Yeah, they do. Adaptive strike comes out just in time. It's a Mind Control, stuck in the tree line. Hal finishes it off. And again, Newbee were recovering very well this time off the back of a very slow start, but still the prevailing issue remains Matuma Man very, very far ahead of the pack with his farm. And also on a note of Fada's Mirana, it's going to be a good timing again with the Aghanims, which is now complete.
Yeah, the thing about that death from Mind Control that makes it painful is the fact that he was very, very close to his Blink Dagger. And I think that, you know, going for the Vanguard, I understand where he's coming from. It's a greedy choice. You know you're ahead. You want to get further ahead. But I'm kind of wondering if just the standard Blink into Blade Mail would have been maybe a better choice, just given the fact that you would be able to take the fight to Newbee so much faster and kind of catch him off guard. But either way, he's still having a pretty solid game. And as you mentioned, Matuma Man's just ridiculously farmed. You know, 10.5k net worth at 18 minutes. Pretty good. And with the Vlads, he can also go for very early Roshan if Newbee ever decide to overcommit to some engagement or are just obviously not ready for the sneak. Because if just him and the Axe walk into the pit, they can kill it.
And in terms of Newbee fighting around the pit, do you feel that they have an edge here, or is Liquid going to feel very confident?
They can fight around the pit. I was speaking more in terms of being able to sneak a Rosh. Going 5 versus 5 around the Roshan pit area for Liquid might be a little bit dangerous right now, just because you're up against massive different wards, which are very good at controlling a small area, and that's kind of what the Roshan pit is. So you kind of want to kite away from those, which obviously leaves the objective open for Newbee to take, depending on how the fight rolls out. So I think it's a little bit risky to go for the all-in Rosh, but if they manage to see Newbee on the map and they say, hey, we got a Vlad's, we can just kill it, that might be something that they consider.
Chuan has the blink now done. Some big arms coming across, out across the board, in fact. As we see How with the Lincoln, so they're going to help out against Matumba Man if he jumps on him, looking to burst him. And talking about Liquid, they're going to go for the exact play you suggest. Jumping into the pit, looking to take it whilst Newbee are unaware. Things coming out, they will have an illusion coming through, so Newbee will be aware this is going on, and of course it's not the fastest of Roche. We'll see Liquid stick around for it though. Veil complete on Kuroki, ready for the next fight. There's a blink on Mind Control, also a blink on Chuan for the side of Newbee, so we'll see if Chuan can get a good jump and a good lock-in in this fight. So who's going to lead the way? Hara actually catches out on the sidelines, but KP jumps in, wards have been dropped as well. Roshan still alive for the time being, but he gets taken down by Liquid. Matumba Man able to pick up the Aegis. So Newbee unable to disrupt them where they wanted to. Matumba Man was shackled up by Chuan, but there's no follow through. He's going to be fine, and jumping in Mind Control gets the call on two. They're going to potentially lose moves while he's trying to timber chain away, but Matumba Man chases him down, finishes him off. It's a triple kill for Fada. And that really could not have gone any worse for Newbee around the pit, and it may not be over yet. Look into how, the Mana Void onto Chuan, make sure he can't blink away. Matumba Man reading the situation perfectly. And how does he get out without a TP? They're going to chase him down here. Liquid finding yet another with an absolutely incredible Roshan fight. Roshan, Aegis, and pretty much the whole team of Newbee to boot as well.
Man, they needed more follow-up after the wards were dropped. Like, for a second there, you saw how much damage Liquid were taking during that small engagement when they just dropped the Mass Serpent wards, but they lose the Bat Rider pretty much right away after it tries to lasso on the Mind Control, and at that point, Roshan already dies, Matumba Man blinks out of the pit with the Aegis, and then from that point on, Newbee, they can't fight anymore. As soon as the fight is not occurring around the Mass Serpent wards, you just have to bail. There's no way that you can turn it anymore.
And as you said yourself, with the draft that Newbee had, again, they would have been hoping for a bit of an edge towards the beginning of this game. Otherwise, it is, of course, going to enter this territory. It's going to be incredibly hard for them to catch up with Matumba Man's farm. And to the point where it's going to be even harder to deal with the anti-mage as Matumba Man closing in on Manta style. At just 21 minutes in, this progression has been absolutely ridiculous. And of course, Jarex, as we can see there, a lot of the backbone of the team, as we saw with the preparation of the jungle early on, making sure the farm was ready for Mind Control and such. 1-1 at 11, getting himself involved in so much action across the map as well on the Shadow Demon. Been very solid performance from him. Top lane Liquid coming through, and now Matumba Man jumping immediately onto Kaka. Kaka trying to get out. Oh, he's got an Invis rune in the bottle. He is a lucky boy, and they don't have detection for that, so he'll get himself out with the Invis, Kaka. It won't be quite the free kill that Liquid would have hoped for in Kaka. He's just going to continue to roll out. I wonder if he's going to kill himself there, but looks like he may be able to make a safe escape. He's got the TP is out. There we have it. Level 17, 22 minutes in. Manta, Battle Fury, Vlad's Treads. Matumba Man is very much good to go at this stage. 3-0-4 as well.
Killing him twice, I'm not really sure how they're supposed to do that. He's so far ahead. He's got 5k more net worth than the next highest person in the game. That's his own teammate. And Fata's still ahead of Hao as well.
Smoke up for Liquid. They did scan the area out, and they knew Liquid were over in that area. KP trying to move away. Jarex really would love to get a range for the Demonic Pledge. It's more the vision at night that's going to be the shortcoming here. Now get the vision of... Oh, no, still out the side. Now he comes back. Oh, that blink! That blink, though! KP! Can't quite believe he reacted that quickly. I mean, does he get himself out? You can see Liquid still looking for some bat, but he is well and truly out of there. My goodness,
that was a really good reaction.
So close to going down, Andy.
Yeah, that was a sick reaction from KP. Interestingly enough, I think there was a stat last game. They were showing his win rate on specific heroes. I
believe it was 0-8.
0 and 8.
It was 0 and 8.
So
he's looking to break it this game. He wants to prove a point, Andy.
I don't know if this is the game for that, Owen, unfortunately. Seems to be very, very tall order. Top lane, Jarek's going to be in some trouble here.
Let's see what kind of a jump they get. In we go with the relocate, bringing Chuan in. Immediately takes Jarek's out of the fight. Newbee. They get themselves anything else. Vada's already on the retreat. But Tumberman's still around. I mean, do they want to go in here? Tumberman going in on the front. Bit. Didn't actually touch Chuan, so Chuan gets to blink out. A little bit awkward there from Tumberman. He didn't find anything there. That was a bit weird.
Well, the problem was he didn't have mana void, so it wasn't actually shown on camera. He mana voided bottom onto the Morphling when Hao was TPing away, maybe not knowing that he had Lincoln, so he has nothing really to stop TPs or burst or anything like that.
And still though, this stage of the game.
And Newbee are doing a really good job at splitting up the map at least. They're not just like letting Liquid push in all 3 lanes and sitting inside of their base. They're actually out and about trying to make things happen because they realize, you know, obviously don't want to lose, but at the same time, you can't just let Liquid have free reign over everything.
Fana heading over. Well, he got that creep. And obviously with the ward out, and spot KP around. They want to do something about it. He'll try for a TP out underneath the ward. It's not going to happen. Immediate disruption. They'll surround him. Bat is down. Liquid again with another pickoff thanks to this. It's really nice warding. We can see with the aggressive wards as well from Liquid. They've got so much vision around Newbee's half of the map. It's allowing them to find these pickoffs. At the same time though, the old relocate wards on the top lane. TP reactions coming out immediately. We'll see if they're able to get a kill out of this, but Tumberman jumps forward. He's going to try for it. Working into Hao. Does have mana void available. Fada's coming across as well. Hao out of mana. Could be in a lot of trouble here. He's morphed a fair bit of strength, but it's not going to be enough as Hao taken down. Liquid responding to the pressure and at the same time. I mean, Io came back off the relocate, but the rest of Liquid were there to deal with him.
They just lose heroes in like all over the map. Losing heroes top, losing him mid, losing him in the jungle.
And he has a Basher done now as well.
I mean, not just a Basher, but he's probably going to have
money
to
on
pull
top
a
of
Abyssal
it.
soon. Yeah.
This is.
Well, this is the worry, right? At the beginning of the game, looking at the anti-mage and just seeing what kind of potential Newbee actually have to kill him, it's very reliant on an early Batrider Blink Dagger and the Timbersaw just going ham and dealing a ton of damage and bursting him. But the problem is he was completely uncontested. He got the Battle Fury super early, gets the Vlaz after that and the Manta, very quick timings. That Roshan as well secured them a very dominant position in the game because then Tumberman is fearless. He can push whatever he wants. Okay, you kill me once, but you have to pretty much use everything to kill me that first time. So when I respawn, either my teammates are going to be there to back me up, there's a Moonlight Shadow, or I can just simply blink away. This is, as Black said on the panel, this is an amazing game to be an anti-mage.
Especially with this match. Farm at this stage, just, I mean, only 26 minutes in, but indeed, if you look at some of the items Liquid have, it doesn't feel like that. Well, top lane, Tumberman jumps in onto Moot. Go back off. He's got the hood as well.
He didn't want to go for it because he saw that the Morphling and Chuan were both in the area. Obviously, Chuan having that Blink Dagger. So the aggressive wards, once again, paying dividends here. For the side of Liquid, they're just going to maintain their control of the map and be satisfied knowing that Tumberman is happily chopping away at creeps.
I mean, Liquid, of course, at this stage, I imagine they are feeling fairly comfortable. Roshan, we'll see when it's going to be back up in just under a minute. Now, Liquid, obviously realizing with the Edge, they don't need to rely on an Aegis to make the plays and to take these fights. And with this Moonlight, they'll start to make a move over. Sentry onto Sentry, so they'll see the Newbee know that they're there, but they'll still get the jump onto Kaka. Mind control immediately with the call. That's going to be a freebie, and now the rest of Newbee needs to be careful. They kind of split up here. This is awkward positioning from Newbee, and Tumberman goes in on Chuan. Up towards the top, the bat. AP trying to get himself away. You have Hao forcing out this top lane, trying to get Liquid's attention drawn away from maybe even thinking about pressuring the high ground of Newbee at this stage with 2 heroes down. This is getting very scary as the Abyssal is on its way out for Matumba. As we've said time and time again, it really has been the perfect anti-mage game, and Tumberman has played it absolutely flawlessly so far.
I gotta give like huge credit to Kuro for the game 2 and 3 drafts. They were both just so good. Like the lanes, the overall idea, it just seemed to put Newbee on the back foot from a very early stage. I mean, we saw game 1 and we said, all right, maybe if they had some different heroes, this would have been a lot better for them because they were playing, it seemed like on a different level than what Newbee have been the entire series. But since that point, it's just been, like, clearly Newbee are just not quite on the same level.
Certainly not off the back of today's performances, indeed, if you read it from that. But Newbee smoked up, realizing it is going to get close to the timing. Roshan back up in just over a minute. And they do want to fight by the looks of it. KP looking to lead the way, find a catch. They'll scan it out. They know that Liquid's hanging around behind Roshan and KP, ready to make the jump. See what he can get a lead on. Jax is going to be the one that's revealing himself first, but Fada close by him. Fada's actually jumping up onto the high ground. As Liquid, looks like they actually just end up avoiding each other. Liquid making a beeline potentially for the mid. Newbee, looks like they realize they're just not finding anything with this movement. And they themselves have to be very careful about how they reveal on the lanes and immediately TPing out back to base, realizing that the gank was failed and they want to make sure that Liquid aren't able to turn it around and capitalize with the use of Moonlight Shadow.
Well, Liquid got pulled a little bit out of position because they saw the Morphling with the wards, and they were maybe assuming that Newbee were somewhere else on the map with a smoke. But the thing is, if you go for the Morphling instead of the fight with the smoke, it means that you're guaranteeing that that hero is isolated, and you pretty much force the entirety of Newbee to either TP back to help him, or you just lose that hero. So it was a nice call, but unfortunately they couldn't really get there fast enough. But the bigger picture here, obviously being Roshan, Courier's already in the pit scouting it out, Liquid are in the area, just ready to kill it as soon as it spawns. And the unfortunate part is Newbee wanted to take the fight before this thing spawned. Because once it spawns, they can't contest. If they try to fight this, I think that you use Mass Serpent wards and you don't win the fight around the pit and an Aegis anti-mage is pushing your high ground, you can't defend it. So now it's going to be fighting into an Aegis, but they will have all of their spells available. But we could be looking at the last hurrah here for Newbee.
As you said, this is going to be an absolutely incredible push from Liquid that comes through once the Aegis is picked up. Newbee in no location at all to contest this. Sending in a replica out. Of course, definitely not going to want to come over and join it. Kroki drops the tombstone as well, just in case Newbee were going to think about going for any sneaky sort of plays, but it's certainly not the position that the Newbee are going to want to be themselves in. As the space is given, Matuma Man picks up the Aegis. And as you said, we could get ready to settle in for a big, hard push from Liquid. And at the moment, looks like they want to lead it off by potentially finding a kill. Matuma Man's coming up, leading the way. Obviously, he has the Abyssal. If he gets the jump on someone, he's very, very, very capable of finding a solo kill. KP will be able to TP out. Matuma Man still just searching to see if the bat's hanging around. It looks like they want to just push back on this top lane. One of the lanes that Newbee's been able to push and force back over to the side of Liquid. But it really is the question, Andy, what do Newbee have in ways of just dealing with this kind of push that's going to come through with an anti-mage that's nearly 10k ahead of your lead farmer?
It's not even just about the AM, it's also the combination of the Shadow Demon as well.
And the Axe Undying.
My god. You don't actually get to see that too much, unless there's an Alchemist in the game or something like that. Some of the Undying builds we've seen from, like Lanham, for example, he would just go for the Veil into the Armlet instead, and he just likes to zombie bunch people, but Aghanim's has its own benefits. 10 strength per application of decay is pretty good.
Tis mine.
I'm struggling to find ways for Newbee to really do anything but defend their high ground. Like that's what they can do, and maybe get like a pick off by pulling somebody really far back with a lasso and hoping that the rest of the group can't follow it, but they might be losing their bat.
I mean, he's just trying to get something done out on the map, but of course Liquid, they're not going to let him get away with it anytime. So I'm seeing 21 to 11, 32.5 minutes in, and now Liquid coming over towards the mid, putting themselves in position for what could be a very, very painful push into the base against Newbee. As we'll see what their best attempts are to stop it. But the gold continuously being racked up on Matuma Man. 4k gold in the bank. We do have an Axe on Timbersaw.
That will help a lot, actually. The wave clear is going to be a really big thing for them when the anti-mage starts wanting to go high ground and hit the tower. Being able to kill the creeps, kill the illusions. That is a very, very big deal. So it's good timing that he gets it now, but is it going to be enough?
Matuma-Man
He does
just
not
jumps
care.
in. He's looking for the kills. The arrow sight's going to hit.
Oh,
Boom.
God.
Oh.
Mana Void is real good against Timber.
And this man does not have a buyback. I mean, he's only going to be down for 40. At the same time, bit of pressure being put on top by How. They're actually going to bring in the water.
Okay.
Oh, sneaky rat-a-tat-tat from Newbee. They'll find a tier 3. We'll see what kind of punish Liquid can do. They get the call onto How. They do take the Morphling kill. Kaka is going to be going back to base in a second. Does get out. But at the same time, Matuma-Man is finding the trade. Takes the tier 3 down mid. He's going to stick around for more. We'll see if a buyback gets forced out on the Morphling or if they just let this go. Chuan setting up with the Shackle. Jerks is there, ready for defensive play if it's needed, but looking at Matuma-Man, it certainly isn't for the time being. Unless, oh, the lasso, KP's caught him. Can they bring him down? But they've got to bring him down twice. You've got to remember, they have the Shackle follow through. The adaptive struck as well, but Jerks with a defensive disruption. Can he get himself out once? No. They'll take Matuma-Man down the first time. Shackle is back off cooldown. Are they going to be able to do it again? Matuma-Man blinks out. Oh! They can't hold him back. Matuma-Man gets out. He's lost the Aegis, but as we can see, just the amount of pressure that Liquid are putting on, it's forcing Newbee to throw everything out there, including the buyback from How.
They did make the best of a bad situation. All things considered, Liquid should have been able to Rax there, but they didn't. So Newbee are walking away from that feeling like, okay, sure, we bought back in the Morphling, but we made Liquid go back, and we also kept our Rax alive. I think against a team with an Anti-Mage and a Shadow Demon, keeping the Rax alive is basically priority number 1. And there's no way they can win a straight-up engagement, so going for the quick push play is definitely what you want to do.
And now he's got a BKB.
All right, life is now hard. Killing him with magic immunity. The Shadow Shaman is what allows him to die because he has so much disabled just in the one hero.
KP playing around here. They're looking for the jump on in mind control, closing the gap, getting the call up, but the relocate out. It is there. They'll save KP. Tron! A pistol play to the head from Atumba. The Shaman's down, and he would have had wards as well. 5 seconds of the wards are off cooldown, so 50 seconds without the wards on the defensive. Liquid ready to move in. The damage with the Soul Catcher bursting down Kaka. Newbee, they're going to have to hold this 3 versus 5. See their best attempts. Mind control jumps in. How? Oh, he's lost his man, lost his life. No buyback available. And Liquid very much on the verge of doing it here, and indeed they have. Liquid will send Newbee home. Moving on in the lower bracket in a series that has just felt that Liquid are playing on a totally different level.